This is exactly why I love sci-fi and fantasy. What's up everyone, is Epictastic Joshua here, finally after a small little delay in between November until now because of actors, writer strikes. We have the second half of this two-part story and the second half of this now planned trilogy of films from Denis Villenueve, Dune Part 2. This is co-written, produced, and directed by Denis Villenueve. This is the sequel to Dune. This stars Timothee, Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Josh Brolin, Stellan Skarsgård, Dave Bautista, Zendaya, Charlotte Rampling, Javier Bardem, Austin Butler, Florence Pugh, Christopher Walken, Lea Seydoux, Sohaila Yacob, Anya Taylor-Joy in a small role, which I won't spoil. And this is based on the novel of the same name by Frank Herbert. So let's get into it because I'm very happy to talk about this. The premise of Dune Part 2 is that we pick up right where that last movie went off. Paul Atreides unites with Chani and the Fremen while seeking revenge against the conspirators who destroy his family. Facing a choice between the love of his life and the fate of the universe, he must prevent a terrible future only he can foresee. When it comes to the Dune series, I pretty much reviewed everything Dune related on this channel. I talked about the 1984 film, which was not so great. I talked about Children of Dune recently. I also talked about the 2000s sci-fi miniseries. And my review of the first one is definitely on the channel. So you can definitely go to the playlist of Dune stuff and you'll find it there. I was looking forward to this because I really enjoyed that first movie. That first movie had no right to be as good as it was. Because I was one of those people who doubted this, and some other Dune fans doubted this because it couldn't be done. But the first movie came out and it was very successful. This movie was borderline not gonna happen because Villeneuve thought the financial success of the first movie would get this canceled, but HBO Max audiences and theatrical audiences speak their truth, and we got Dune Part 2 in October 2021. So we got some new cast members, and then we started getting trailers and such at the beginning of last year. All of our hopes was washed away when this movie got delayed because of stupid ass labor disputes in Hollywood. But after the strikes were resolved, they moved it up to 2 weeks for Dune, March 1st. So we finally have our sequel to Dune. And this movie has been getting a lot of great buzz. It's pretty much getting a lot of love when it comes to this movie. So, that case, this movie is by any means going to be a big success this coming up weekend. So, what did I think of this movie? And I'm going to tell you what I think. But first, I feel like I need to say a few disclaimers. If you are someone who is not big on the Dune property or big into the Dune universe or books, this is not going to be your type of movie, depending on what you are known for in terms of Dune, whether you know it or don't know him. And also, if you're not a fan of the first movie or Villeneuve's meticulously slow style, this is not going to be your film either. This just need to be said. I'm sorry, before we go into it. The people who want to compare this to The Lord of the Rings and want to trash that trilogy or make fun of that trilogy or Empire Strikes Back and such, stop comparing it to those movies and look at this as its own thing. This is meant to be its own franchise, just like any other sci-fi or fantasy or blockbuster property. There, I said it. Here we go. With that being said, I love this movie. This and Orion in the Dark are my two favorite movies of the year so far. I do think there's other movies that's gonna be my number one, maybe like Furiosa or Inside Out 2 or such, but this is definitely gonna be in the top 5 or top 4 come by the end of this year, depending on what else. So going into the long list of positives, I have to say this is a sequel that does everything right. First off, into the direction of this movie, Villeneuve and his creative team has done it yet again with the second part of this planned trilogy. Everything that was built on the first film definitely is surpassed and subverted here on what you think you're going to get going into this. And not only I think it expands this world of Arrakis and the sandworms and these creatures, it already just builds more groundwork to what's headed in the future. This is pretty much the middle chapter of a trilogy, as it would do like the Two Towers or something. Like, it does have more build up. It is a more slower paced film, but it does give you some action when it comes to what you're going to get here. And it does the groundwork very well to set up this finale that we're going to get, these characters that we're going to get. And there's a lot of integral aspects in the story I thought was fantastic. I think what they do with Paul Atreides, I think is handled just as well here as if it was here. I might say better here. Facing his destiny of him being this chosen one, the war that we are going to be promised, and then there's another war that's coming. And also a few moments in the religion aspect in terms of the Bene Gesserit and Lady Jessica, which is something in the books that is pretty much weird for people, but I will say is for this movie is not too beaten on the head. Of course, I do think the way Villeneuve is able to once again tell us what we're getting in here is all thanks to great writing and great character development and great things that they give us that has plenty to do with old characters and new characters, despite a few needing more to do. But a lot of the things that take from that first movie that were set up is definitely comes to a head here, whilst things for the next movie are being set up in the smallest doses. Villeneuve once again is able to give us some great direction in this movie. He basically was taking the criticism of the first movie that it was a very slow pace with little to no action. Here he goes full action when you get it. He does have his moments still of having slow pace and methodical pacing, but the way Villeneuve operates with his movies is that this is a director who has great craftsmanship, who has dual sources, who has the say-so in what he is going to do with him and his script from John Space. Which there's a few things in the script I have a little bit of issue with. We'll go into the negatives, but I will say when it comes to the script and the direction, handled, and it's greatly competently handled. To top that off, you have some incredible camera work by an already Academy Award winning cinematography, Greg Fraser. You thought his cinematography in the first movie and the Batman and the Creator was great? The cinematography in this is amazing and it's immaculate and it's brilliant. I think the way he's able to handle the cinematography makes it so entertaining to watch. There's so many ways of using the camera trickery, so many uses of lighting, even the nighttime scenes and then the visions. You can see what's going on. It's not shaky cam. Everything is all in your face. You can see the colors, you can see the sweeping shots of the sandworm, the Fremen, and the Bene Gesserit, and Paul and Chani's love story. There is some fantastic work done in that department, especially when it comes to a black and white fight, when it comes to Fer de Radar, which was on the trailers, which I thought that was great. The way they use the black and whites is just so magnificently beautiful. It's like it's a matte painting. You can take any frame from either one of Villeneuve's movies and you put them on a freaking painting, they are something marvelous to see. And I definitely think not only directing and the script and maybe the cinematography is going to get some Oscar nominations, but also I can see the makeup and costumes and the production design getting some work, some love here. Costumes are very well done. The dresses, the outfits, the little things that they have to wear on their nose to make sure they breathe in the sand, otherwise they'll die. The blue eyes makeup, which is the water of immortality, I guess. I have not read any of these books. Don't come at me in the comments. The makeup and the production design is really great, especially the way Fed Rothal looks. The production design, it looks damn great here by everyone involved from the last movie. So it's just visually marvelous to see in those departments. This is a $190 million budget, and I'll tell you, between the marketing and the way this movie, they put so much care into that. Also into some of the visual effects with the practicality and CGI, which is a phenomenal mix, which is something I always think should be done. Mix practicality with computer generated imagery and you would have something look fantastic. For that $190 million budget, this movie's gonna make bank. I'm telling you, this movie's gonna make some big money, despite a few issues for some people when it comes to the pacing and maybe the subtitles. I didn't have an issue with the subtitles that much because I have trained myself over the years to just, if there's a movie that's gonna have subtitles or other foreign languages that have subtitles, to just get used to it and to just, you can learn something from those. I know not everyone is gonna love these subtitles, including my friend John Avenger, which he did have his few issues with the pacing, a few actors here and that subtitles, but I will say it's handled pretty well. I do kind of wish they would have a translator character in this. That way it wouldn't be so much, but it wasn't really annoying the hell out of me the way they were doing the subtitles. A movie that is 2 hours and 45 minutes, it never feels boring. There's probably a good chunk of the middle and a few expository moments that I can feel a little bit tense-worthy when I rewatch this or not, but I was just sitting there so engrossed into what was on the screen and what was happening that I just couldn't take my eyes off it. I was just having fun. I was really liking where this movie was going. And that is the number one thing you have to make sure when it comes to editing, is get your viewers and your audiences engrossed. It's definitely Denis' vision on full display. It's not studio mandated, which is something I appreciate, and we need more of that. Stop with the studio interference bullshit and let these directors do what the fuck they want. It never feels boring. Maybe a few moments of exposition and a few moments of such that could be a little fixer up in the editing, but then you have to create in the whole new extended cut. Never feels boring, and it does a great job at being its own movie despite being the second half of a story in a trilogy, and it allows us in a very simple but very dense way to get ready for the inevitable third movie in the trilogy. Editing, of course, by Joe Walker. Some people will take issue with this, but I think the way Villeneuve and his editor works is really well done. There are some great moments of editing that they just do a phenomenal job with. I will say his editing, I think, is very solid. The way he chooses different angles, different shots, the way he handles the visions and such, all of that I think is incredible in terms of his editing. Again, a few moments of expository or such could have been trimmed a little bit, but because I was so engrossed, I didn't have this issue with the runtime for a lot of it. There's maybe 15 to 25% where I was a little frustrated with some pacing, but I held in and I was able to get out of it unscathed. Hans Zimmer's score is incredible in this movie. Hans Zimmer, I think his score for both of these movies is fantastic, and I can see him getting another Oscar nomination. The themes of Fed Ratha and the themes carry over from the last movie, all the musical cues and such, it feels like you want to be a part of this world, musical wise. And Hans Zimmer, he's already working on music for Dune Messiah, and that movie hasn't even gotten greenlit yet. So I'm curious to see how he's gonna bring the music for Dune 3 home when we eventually get it, but don't rush it. Going back to the editing a little bit, the way the fight scenes, especially one between Paul and Fade, which is a little quick and done and over with, I definitely really liked the way the editing is here. Casting wise, everyone is all around phenomenal with our new and returning characters here. There's a few nitpicks I do have when it comes to the cast, but they are all great here once again. Timothee Chalamet, he just came off of Willy Wonka, one of his biggest hits, and shows that he can be a lead man franchise material. He's great in this movie as Paul Atreides. He has more to do. He has a lot more that has to go here, and he still feels conflicted about his destiny, but this is the movie where he really does come into his own and accepts his destiny. I thought he was fantastic here, and I could probably see him getting some Oscar love next year. He was fantastic. He killed it, especially in his fight scenes and the scenes with him being emotional. I thought he was great. Rebecca Ferguson, need I say more about Rebecca Ferguson? Y'all know how I feel about Rebecca Ferguson.
Try to keep up.
Definitely. Absolutely. I think it's signed, sealed, and delivered, honey.
Yeah.
Seems to me being reasonable.
She's attractive, she's a great actress, and having sent on this movie, I strongly think she should at least get a Best Supporting Actress nomination. If not, then it will kind of be a little bit of a crime, because she's fantastic here. I know my friend prefers Ilsa. I prefer Lady Jessica, because she's the mother of Paul, because there's a lot more layers to her. I get to know her. You don't know which side you're gonna go. And there are some things they do with her as a Bene Gesserit, and some decisions that she makes, which I can't spoil. She was incredible, and she was fantastic here. But she held her own as Lady Jessica Atreides, and I want to see what they're gonna do with her in the third movie. Zendaya as Chani, she had a little to do in the last movie, but here she has a lot more to do, especially being a lead character. She's fantastic. I love Zendaya as an actress, and I thought she and Timothee had great chemistry. It is a romance, but I will say it doesn't go in the way that you actually think it's gonna go. Josh Brolin as Gurney Halleck once again was great. Dave Bautista and Stellan Skarsgård, they once again do great jobs as the Baron Harkonnen, Robin Harkonnen. They do a great job in terms of what they can go with, and they both were fantastic. I thought they're not in this movie as much, but I will say for what they have to do in the screen time, I thought they were fantastic here. Austin Butler, I know my friend is going to disagree with me here, and that's fine. We agree to disagree. I know some other people will disagree with me. He freaked me the fuck out as Fedorada Harkonnen. Oh, he scared the hell out of me in this movie. Oh, he turns in an extremely horrifying and scary, disturbing take on Fed Rothma, and I personally think he did better than Sting. Sting, I enjoy the over-the-topness that he brings to it. Here is a little bit over the top with him, the black teeth as such, and the albino Voldemort look, but I feel like if this is how he's going for in the books, then I think Villeneuve captured that perfectly. The actor to play him, that's up for debate, whether you like or hate him. Florence Pugh as Princess Irulan. I'll be honest, I think Florence Pugh is a okay actress. I'm pretty hit and miss with her. There's a few there's things I like her in, there's things I don't like her in. Black Widow, I think that could have been played by anyone, but I thought she did fine here. I just feel like she's just there to be the exposition, and I feel like you could have got anyone in this. She's not awful, I just felt like there could have been a little bit more there to her. Christopher Walken is Christopher Walken. He's great. What do you expect of him? Lea Seydoux, another beautiful, attractive woman that I love. French power, honestly.
I guess they call her.
No, I have, yeah.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
You've seen Nessie? Really?
Yeah.
Just watch.
Jack, we scorched another one.
She's not in this movie as much as I would hope she would have been in as Lady Margot, which her screen time is great, but I really wanted to see more of her in this. But I do hope with Dune 3, she gets more to do. And people really do take for granted how incredible of a French actress that Léa Seydoux is. She's done stuff in her home country. She's done 007, Crimes of the Future, which I thought she was fantastic in. A few movies with Wes Anderson. Léa Seydoux is a very damn great actress, and I want to see her get more to do. I want to see her do more things like this and stuff for the French communities, because she is a fantastic actress that should be getting a lot of awards for some of the other movies that she does and other will do. You also have Soheila Yacob as Shishaka. She was great. Charlotte Rampling, have nothing more to say. Javier Bardem, I thought was very good as Stilgar. He gets a lot more to do. I won't spoil her part, but Anya Taylor-Joy is good in this one for her little small appearance. So I think everything that they do with this movie is great, from the acting to the directing to the cinematography to everything that is done well about it. Going into the mix aspects, I'm mixed on some of the stuff that they go for here in terms of Lady Jessica, because I do feel like it's important, but at the same time I felt it's a little weird. Maybe because I haven't read the book, and I might read, if I read the books I may understand what they're doing with her. I appreciate Villeneuve actually going there. I just kind of feel like it's a little weird. It's a little fucking weird. But we'll see what happens in the third movie, because they are setting up a holy war or something like that. Going into a few issues, I do have a few issues with the issues I do have with this movie. I can see some people being exhausted with the runtime, but if you're willing to hang in there and just enjoy what Villeneuve is giving you, you will make it through. But I can also see some people being very like, will something happen? It's a little bit of a problem for some people and for some audiences. I wanted more from Léa Seydoux, but we're gonna get another movie so I can know more about her mysterious character. I thought Princess Irulan, while I don't hate Florence in this, I thought she could be better played by someone else. Not taking away anything from Florence for a lot of my friends who likes her. I just have a very complicated relationship with. There's a few moments where I think you could have took the subtitles out and just a little bit and let us know what they're saying on its own. Like, okay, I get you have to have subtitles in a world like this, but there's a few times, especially towards maybe the last couple minutes of the movie, where it gets a little distracting. But like I said, with me having to learn to read subtitles is not much of a problem. The last issue I'm gonna take with this movie is that, once again, you people need to stop comparing this to Mandalorian or Star Wars or Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings or Empire Strikes Back. This is meant to be looked at as its own thing. I get the comparisons between those, considering that they do remind you of certain things in scope, and also that this was not unfilmable at the time. But in terms of this being a new franchise or being the new big thing, the comparisons is getting a little annoying. I'm not saying that you can't use comparisons to that, because there definitely are there. I just feel like you could do better in terms of what you're actually comparing this to. But that's really my own really personal issue. It's not nothing to do with the movie. But in conclusion, Dune Part 2 is everything that you expect to get. This is a masterclass of a sequel, and I would not be shocked if this movie gets a shit ton of Oscar nominations for directing, for acting, maybe actor, best actress, such. But this is not going to be the only movie that's going to get some Oscar love, because we got Furiosa, we got Joker Foray Lado, and this is a movie that deserves every piece of acclaim is getting it, every piece of box office this weekend. And I'm very excited for more of this world with the third film and with the TV show. And if that third movie, if Dune Messiah sticks the landing, like I feel like beyond the Spider-Verse will stick the landing for the Spider-Verse films. We're gonna have a fantastic trilogy of epic movies that will be talked about for years to come. It has a few issues. I think Irulan could be better, some subtitles could be removed, and I wanted a little bit more of a few actors like Lea Seydoux and such. But this is one of the best movies of the 2020s. It will go down as one of the best movies of 2023, one of the best sci-fi movies, one of the best sequels, best fantasy films, and this will be one of the greatest cinematic achievements that we have ever seen. Whether you think this movie is too long or what, this is going to be worth something in the very long run. So for that, I sat on this. I was originally going to give it a Spider-Verse worthy, but because I have a few issues here, I'm going to give this a better than Vampire Academy. I thought this was an incredible masterclass of a sequel. Well done, Villeneuve. Well done. I will get this on physical media because when I think of sci-fi and fantasy, this is what I want. Well, that's going to do it for the video that you just watched. If you want to see more, my channel icon is up here. If you want to see more content from me, all my social medias are right here in this end card. I will also leave a playlist and a video here for you to see what the channel is about. As always, acknowledge me, stay Epictastic, join the Epictasticness, and you guys keep it cool.